So during the past year, a lot of the research that our team has done went into researching chip-level vulnerabilities. So things that are inherent in many, many IoT devices or many devices in general that are prevalent in enterprises. Part of that research was specifically around a set of vulnerabilities that we dubbed BleedingBit. These are essentially two vulnerabilities in TI chips, Texas Instrument chips that are in BLE, specifically for Bluetooth Low Energy. These are extremely, extremely popular chips in pretty much everything, including wireless access points. Now, the original BleedingBit vulnerability disclosure centered around access points, wireless access points from Cisco, from Aruba, and basically focused in on, first of all, the fact that wireless access points even have BLE chips. Most companies aren't even aware of the fact that over the past few years this has become really, really popular to put these in. But secondly, around the fact that one can exploit those BLE chips to gain access of the access point itself, and through that to the company network. Part of the problem is that this can actually remove completely network segmentation. Basically, through the access point, you can mix up or kind of completely remove the barriers between corporate and guest, as an example, and gain access into sensitive information. So the go-to kind of use case here is someone sitting, for instance, in the lobby of a company. They just walk in, they sit on a chair, they attack the access point that's closest to them, and they gain access to the corporate network without anyone even knowing that they're on the network. Basically, the very fundamentals of network infrastructure are what's compromised here. There were two sets of vulnerabilities there. One was the ability to send a malicious bit to the access point and take over the access point. The other is the ability to use essentially what's a debug feature, but that was activated in Aruba access points and allowed an attacker to load their own code onto an Aruba access point and basically take the Aruba access point over. Both of these were disclosed to all the companies in question. Both of these had patches introduced. And ever since then, the research into that and kind of the implications, the broader implications continued. So we know that millions of access points were affected by this at the time. These are access points that are really the core of any wireless enterprise network. So many, many enterprises have these types of models of access points. These are extremely popular models and the newest ones at that. So Cisco and Aruba and Meraki, all of these had affected models. And at the time, this impacted a great deal of companies. These are more, I would say, the enterprise wireless access points as opposed to kind of home routers or things like that. So, but that's not because those are necessarily not affected. It's more because we focused most of our research on those areas. So part of the initial buzz and I would say story around BleedingBit was in fact kind of the broader implications. The fact is these are BLE chips that are everywhere. TI chips are in pretty much every device or in every category of device you can think of, including medical devices and retail devices and phone as a key and many, many other BLE applications. And so as we continue the research, we've made more responsible disclosures to other companies. In this case, the two that we're going to be announcing, and one of them has already been announced, one is going to be announced tomorrow, is Zebra and Unikey. So Zebra is a manufacturer of many, many different devices, anything from wearable tablets and distribution centers all the way to a variety of different medical devices in hospitals. And the fact is that Zebra use the TI chip in question. Some of their devices, specifically BLE beacons that are used in hospitals, are affected by this. They have issued a patch for that, and they've announced that yesterday, I believe. And in general, I would say that the reason that is important to us is, aside from the broader impact of BleedingBit, Armis for healthcare, which is a product that we sell to many different hospitals, see all kinds of different vulnerabilities, all kinds of different risks, all kinds of different threats manifest within hospital environments. Anything from ransomware on medical devices, all the way to infected medical devices, infected infusion pumps that a nurse needs to sit next to. So a lot of different things that affect our everyday lives, that affect our very patient care. So this would be another example of that. Essentially, how medical devices can be affected by vulnerabilities in connectivity, by the fact that devices are designed to connect as they are. So Zebra is one of these. The other one is Unikey, which is a provider of phone as a key services. Phone as a key is used in many, many different situations, anything from opening up your hotel room all the way to opening up cars or things like that. Unikey is one of the core, kind of the key players in that space, and they were affected by that as well, which means that you could potentially use that vulnerability to open up hotel rooms or potentially open up cars. So the problem is that a lot of things have BLE. It's very, very prevalent as a technology. It's probably the next one after Wi-Fi when it comes to these kinds of peer-to-peer communications. BLE is everywhere. All of our phones have it. A lot of different devices have it for any number of reasons. Access points, as we've talked about before, have them. So the implications are very broad. A lot of medical devices use BLE because it's a very seamless way of communicating for low data bursts. Phone as a key or things like that are a classic technology because phones have BLE and it's very easy and cheap to put up BLE beacons in places. The fact is that the broader implications are that BLE chips tend to run at a very high privilege inside the devices in which they're embedded. They're a core piece of the communication. No one expects them to be an attack surface, and so no one really puts any guards in place to protect against something like that. So the fact is, usually when you've managed to compromise the BLE chip, you've managed to compromise the entire device.